Now we're moving on to the student panel. Aurora Murphy is going to introduce us to the wonderful student ambassadors from Centre of Social Justice and Inclusion, and they focus around you at uni. Over to you, Aurora.
Great, thanks. Hi. Oh, we're missing the photo of Anna. Great. So we are going to meet, Amir, and we are going to meet Elsie Ann, and we are also going to meet Anna. And we're going to hear a little bit, so I guess they will be spotlighted, Janet. So Amir and Elsie Ann will talk to us about you at uni. And Anna is going to talk about this new Pacifica mentoring program. So welcome to the three panelists that we've got here today. Thanks so much for making the time and joining us. And Elsie's coming as well. Hey. Amir, your story is really interesting because in terms of you at uni program, you were mentored and now you've become a mentor for you at uni. So your background, you came to Australia from Iran when you were 12 from a refugee background. And then you started doing the U at Uni program in year 11. Can you tell us a little bit about this program and how it supported you?
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to say hi to everyone listening. I started the U at Uni program in year 11. So how it started was we basically got notes given to us and had to answer HSC questions. I specifically went to the biology program that they had, and they will show us how to answer HSC questions and how to excel at that. Later on, that program became a U at Uni Academy where they don't look at anyone's marks anymore and their ATAR, and you basically just get a path to UTS without your ATAR being into consideration. So everyone gets a fair chance at going to university. So basically, it went from a program into an academy, and it's more like a mentorship, I would say, at this point, rather than just giving you academic support like how the program was. And yeah, that'll be the transition that they had.
Beautiful. Okay, so it used to be more of an academic focused program, and now it's got a bit of a different focus where it supports students, they be part of the program and they can come straight to UTS without worrying about the ATAR.
Yep, so at year 11, you would mentor those students, and then those same students would be taken into year 12, where we'd be mentoring and some kind of academic support as well to it.
Beautiful. Okay, fantastic. So when you were at school, you were a bit of a nerd, you said you were really into biology, but there was also basketball, which you were a bit of a fan at basketball. You were getting pretty good marks. But then you met a career advisor at school and you were like, hey, what should I do here? What happened there and what was the result?
Yeah, so I would say I was achieving like relatively good marks, and one of our career advisors came to one of the classes and were telling us, oh, this is a way to go to university. You guys do this, do that. That's the program. Fill these forms out, and this is how you apply to go to university. These are the applications and how to follow. I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I want to go to university, and what should I do? And she was like, looking at you, I reckon you should pursue a trade, and university wouldn't really be for you. So coming from a low socioeconomic background, it really hit me, and I was like, okay, maybe she's right. University is not really for me. Went back home, had a talk with my mom, and I was like, that's what she said to me. And my mom encouraged me to try my hardest, still try to go to university. And yes, I did. Went to university, and I got a scholarship at university as well. I'm one of the humanitarian scholarship recipients. And now I'm studying a Bachelor of Civil Engineering and Medical Science, and I'm working as a site engineer at the Western Sydney Airport coming up.
What a huge journey you've had. And that's so cool that your mum is like, cool, you want to do a trade? That's great. Just keep on going. And interesting. So you said, like, was it helpful for you because you were doing this mentorship with UTS anyway? So that helped you combat some of that idea that like, oh no, this is the path I should take, and instead have more of an open idea?
Yeah, so with that mentorship program, it kind of encourages you to go to university as well, because you would know how to answer the questions and you feel more confident when you go into the test, and you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to smash this, I'm going to go to university and I'm going to achieve high marks, because that's what universities basically look at, your ATAR and how you perform throughout your high school years. So that mentorship and those academic supports really have encouraged me and like really took a step further, I would say.
Yeah, and so interesting what you're saying about they're helping you like tackle the questions. Like there's all this kind of like expected knowledge about coming into university. Like when one of those, it's like they were helping you, these are the sorts of questions and this is how to approach these questions.
Yeah, so it was okay, this is the question, that's how you're going to answer it, that's how you're going to tackle it. Obviously, you need some knowledge and some background of how the subjects are going and how the question is going to be answered. But that little bit of help and that little bit of push definitely helped a lot.
Great. Okay. And now you're working as a civil engineer at the airport, new airport.
Yep, at the Western Sydney Airport in Badgers Creek, coming up soon. So I'm basically the site engineer there. Yep.
Great. And I can see how much you love it as well. That's so good. Yeah, it's really
pretty exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see you love it. Good. We need good civil engineers. Excellent. Elsie Ann, you didn't start as you weren't mentored in the program, but you are a mentor in the U at Uni program. And you said that when you were at school, you were a bit of a late starter to reading and writing, but like me, your parents were really supportive. Can you tell us a bit about your journey at school and then into being a mentor at U at Uni?
Definitely. So when I started my education in primary school, I was definitely a late starter, finding it hard to learn how to read, write those basic fundamentals, even to the point where my teachers wanted me to repeat a year, but my parents begged them, no, she can do it. And I think the main thing that got me to this point was even in that period where I did, like on paper, it did seem like I was underperforming. My parents were always encouraging. They were always telling me, you're a smart girl, you can do this, you're smart. And I always had such a high ceiling with them. I remember ever since I was young, my dad would always tell me that beyond the sky was my limit. And I think that's what allowed me to later on in primary school and high school be able to progress where I did have start doing well academically to the point where I was invited to be an ambassador as part of for the Centre for Social Justice and Inclusion because of my high GPA in university. And yeah, so that was my journey of how from going from a position, I think the key point was definitely my parents' encouragement and always instilling in me that even though I was underperforming, they never made me feel like I was not capable or not able to do something.
Yeah, great. That's really wonderful. And Amir joined the program when he was in year 11, when the program was slightly different. And you go in, or you also work with the New South Wales Equity Consortium that even works with students who are younger, from years 7 to 9, to kind of go in and challenge this idea that you're not smart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying about that.
Yeah, definitely. So working as an ambassador, while you can see the great impact that U Uni is having. I remember working with year 11 students, and they're in year 11, haven't even started the HSC yet, and they were already convinced that they were going to fail. And I remember having that conversation, like having conversation with them and discussing it with them. And you could really see that while the program was great, like these students, they were being told, they had been told these things from a younger age. And so it was really vital to get in there at a younger age. So the New South Wales Equity Consortium is actually a program that's done in with other universities as well. I believe we participate with Macquarie University and the University of New South Wales. And we work with students from year 7 to 9 in our partner schools. And the whole point of this is from an early age to present to these students that university is an option. They are capable of it, and to change the narrative that they may be exposed to, as university is not some far-fetched thing that like only a few of you might be able to do, but it's an option for everyone. And if that's what you want to pursue, we want you here. There's a place for you here.
Isn't it so interesting that, that it's, we're thinking about belonging, and that that's a lot about challenging these kind of narratives that are outside in the world and then get embedded into our own heads. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing about that, Elsie. Anna, you come from a different place, from the Pacifica Mentoring Program. That's a pilot program. You were tracked down by your surname to come and be part of this program. Tell us about this amazing Pacifica Mentoring Program.
Yeah, so I got involved at the beginning of last year, 2021, which was also my final year for undergrad. And yep, I was tracked down by the big boss who was looking for Islander-looking last names. And so Pacifica mentoring is quite similar to you at uni, which Elsie and Amir did. We just want to empower high school students and give them this, let them know that opportunity, that university is viable for them. But I guess with Pacifica mentoring, we've focused more on Pacific Islander high school students in low socioeconomic areas. Did I say economic? Yeah, low socioeconomic areas. Just because statistically, we've found that there's a big population of Pacific Islanders in Sydney, and yet they're very underrepresented in university, in higher education.
Cool. And you're a science student, and was that part of the reason you were reached out to? Just surname?
Not necessarily. All Pacific Islander students in uni that she could find, she tracked down. But it was very helpful to be a science student, because in going to those high schools, majority of the students would aim for sporting type of careers. It's almost like a stereotype that Pacific Islanders either go into sports or like drop out or work in factories sort of things, and we're just trying to kind of change that.
Yeah, give people more options. Those are good options as well, but so is science. Yeah. So we've got about like 5 minutes or so to now talk about this idea of belonging and belonging at UTS. And Amir, you had an interesting situation because of your mentor, and your mentor helped you feel like you belong at UTS, but also within your profession. Can you tell us about that?
So one of the students at UTS was my mentor, and we basically sat down together, and he's a civil engineer student as well. So we sat down together. I made a LinkedIn, and I didn't know what a LinkedIn was until he introduced it to me. Made a LinkedIn, added my professional education and the places that I worked at, my work experience, and basically connected me to the social environment and the professional connections that I needed in order for me to I guess, step into the industry and get myself known as what I'm studying and what career I plan to go to and plan to have. So that mentorship and that process that he took me through, making a LinkedIn and getting me connected, really made me feel belong, that I actually do belong into the industry, and made me really feel belong at UTS as well, I reckon.
Yeah, wonderful. So they helped you set up a LinkedIn profile, like work out what is LinkedIn, and then connect to like the top 4 civil engineering companies, so you could build your social and professional network.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, that's really good, and important for us to build our social networks and our professional networks, and realizing that not all students come in with these very well established social and professional networks. Just these little things that people can do. Anna, your perspective was different, because you talked about feeling like you belong through connecting with culture.
Yeah. So in becoming part of the Pacifica mentoring program, that was the first time I ever met Pacific Islander students at uni. And, you know, for those first 2 years of my degree, I thought I was the only Pacific Islander that I knew of. And although it didn't make me feel excluded, once I did find my cultural community, it was like finding like a long lost child. Like I didn't know what I was missing. And now that I found it, it's like makes me even more excited, more motivated. Yeah, just pushes me more.
Yeah, because you said before that you met lots of international students from all around the world, but you were like, oh, I'm the only Pacific Islander student. Yeah. And now you've connected with a bit of a community, and you've got some stuff going on in O Week as well.
Yeah, so I just did want to kind of just say, I only just moved to Australia in 2019. So I'm used to being surrounded by Pacific Islander students, like Samoan students. That's why I was so, you know, felt like I was connected when I met the Pacific Islander community at UTS. And that's why I feel like it's so important. But yes, after getting our mentoring program together, we got together, we made our society, brought it back up, and we have our first stall in the last 5 years, I think, this Wednesday at orientation.
Oh, fantastic. So we go to the Alumni Green for that?
It will be in Building 2, Level 4. We'll be there, next to the Filipino Society.
Beautiful. Thanks for that, Anna. And so, Anna and Amir, you talked about the way that you felt like you belong, these little things that happened that made you feel like you belong at UTS in your profession. Elsie, as a mentor, you had that opportunity to help other students feel like they belong. Can you tell us about this one student that you're thinking of?
Yeah, so one example of that is, so as part of the U at Uni Academy, there's U at Uni Year 12 Uni Prep, which is basically a group of ambassadors and go to one of our partner schools, and it's a mixture of mentoring and providing academic support to Year 12 students as part of the program throughout the Year 12 year. And so this one student in my small group, I remember talking with her, and she was kind of tentatively bringing up the idea that she was possibly interested in doing a double degree in law and communications, because with the U at Uni Academy, now there's no ATAR requirement. She can choose whatever she's interested in. And I remember just talking to her and letting her know, because she was a bit worried about law. She was scared that it might be a bit like it might be too difficult, as you know, like what everyone thinks of a law degree. I remember just telling her, look, I've like encouraging her, like, I've seen you work throughout this whole year. You are such a capable student. You have so much potential. If this is what you want to do, go for it. You will thrive. And just being that voice of encouragement and being that voice that continuously says you are capable of doing whatever it is that you want to do, and you don't have to feel like that anything like might be a bit too hard or be a bit too tricky. And now I'm actually the first cohort has come through and completed the academy and is now part of a new program called First Year Success. And I'm actually mentoring her, and she's studying a Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Communications major in Media and Arts Production. So it was really amazing to see that conversation that we had last year actually did impact her and like, I guess, change, that trajectory, and like now she's on this path.
That's so cool. And now you get to mentor her.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great. It really speaks to some of the stuff that we talk about with belonging. It might be in the infographic as well, this just-in-time support, that you met this student when they're at the precipice. Do I dare dream of this? And then just supporting them to go, yeah, dare to dream this. Great. We've got like a few minutes now for Q&A, but I just wanted to say, Elsie, you had a bit of a shout out, sort of a message that you wanted to give to us.
Yeah, I think the main message I'd want to get across is I'm not sure if like people realize, but professional and academic staff, they actually have such a big role to play in a student's experience of a belonging. Because I guess I know that everyone sees so many students in a day, but the way I see it is every subject, every lecturer, every tutor is like the gateway to a student to a particular area in a discipline, a particular field. And that classroom environment and that environment in that subject plays a big role in whether that student continues to, explore, the extent that they explore and feel that they're able to freely navigate their interest in that area and discipline. And so I just wanted to encourage professional staff that have such a big role in, I guess, our experience and I guess our trajectory as well, even in university.
Thanks, Elsie. And hopefully the people here can hear Elsie's words echoing in our head as we start to come into our first few weeks at uni and maybe feel a bit overwhelmed with it, that we are the gateway for these students to feel like they belong. Anna, you had like a little tip, just like a simple little tip that people can do in their classes. Can you share that?
It was just a little thing, because in our applications to get into uni, we're asked what languages do you speak, and when I was filling that out, I didn't know why that was important, but like maybe in classes teachers could just be like, or whoever gets those applications could just kind of refer people to a relevant society, just knowing the importance of knowing you have a cultural community at your uni, and like knowing how much it drives me to want to like stay in uni or make it a better experience for other students and make them feel like they belong as well. So yeah, that was just my tip.
It's a great tip. We love it. That's beautiful. Yeah, connecting students, reaching out to them and going, oh, you speak Samoan. Have you heard about the Pacifica Mentoring Program, the Pacifica Society? Thanks for that. We have 4 minutes left for people in the room to ask questions. So we are available now for questions. They can come in the chat box. We've got some good stuff here going in the chat box. And you're also welcome to ask a verbal question. We've probably got about time for about 2 questions. Just looking in the chat box. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, that was really great. Thank you, Anna, Elsie Ann and Amir. What I'd love to know is some practice that you've gained from being in the classrooms, in the belonging, that you've taken into your own role as mentors with students, because there's a big program happening now of mentoring that in our next Rachel's going to talk about the mentoring program coming in with students. But what practices, I hear what you're saying about reaching out, and Elsie Ann about reaching out oh no, it was Anna, reaching out and getting a group, and the importance of, Elsie Ann, you were talking about the importance of the individual around person connecting. And Amir, I'm sure you've got some connections from being in FEIT, ways of working that would be good. Can you, each of you, give me one key memory of where you felt that you really belonged in your class?
Yeah, I'm happy to kick off. One moment that always stands out to me when I get this type of question was, I remember first semester, I had this tutor and he was amazing. He just made it was different to any of my other classes, because he just created in our classroom, all of a sudden, he just created an environment where everyone was like an equal, and everyone was free to engage in engage in discussion, engage in debate. And it was the most lively class because everyone just felt like they had an equal voice to participation. And it was like being like, he act like, even though he had many students, all the other students I talked to who were in different classes say the same thing about how he was like, he just made an environment everyone was comfortable to just freely engage. And I think that's definitely something that I also took into my mentoring.
Did you think about what he did?
So, I mean, some examples of what he did was simple things of, like, for example, not standing at the front of the classroom, but he'd be in the middle of the classroom, engaging with everyone. He knew everyone, but also just the way that the discussions, like, he facilitated the discussions. He let the students kind of, I guess, take over in the sense of like really get involved, and like he created an environment where you never felt judged. You never felt like, oh, I'm going to say the wrong answer. And it was more just clear about like learning from each other and hearing other people's perspectives.
Excellent, thank you. Amir, we haven't heard from you. So could you tell me something on that, on what's one experience you had?
Yeah, I reckon UTS is doing a really great job at not making the students feel discouraged, and it actually encourages them to move forward with the things that they are interested in. I reckon the issue would be the transition between high school coming to university, because at school I really feel like I'm encouraged to do things, and like no one tells me, oh, maybe this is not for you, because everyone gets a fair opportunity at UTS. And I reckon that's displayed in like all of the classes. So I wouldn't say there's like a specific tutorial or a practice that I'll go to that has that feeling. I reckon it's within the whole university. So that's what I reckon UTS is really good at.
So for students to take ownership of taking all the opportunities that are available, is that?
There's a fair amount of opportunities to everyone. So no one's discouraged because of, I reckon, their past or like whatever they have. Like, yes. No one's discouraged, and there's no differences between students.
All that wonderful support that support services provides, library supplies, helps you pass. Yes, there's so much there as well as the classroom tutor. Anna.
I would say my experience is very similar to Amir. I've just always felt like I belonged, and there was no specific moment. I feel like UTS is just good at that. And being honest, the first time I felt that sense of belonging was when I met other people of my culture. But in terms of just academic solely, I think it's being surrounded by international students alike, just like me. So just that experience and academics kind of taking interest in you, like not just being, this was in my first year though, my teachers back then were very almost personal, like they wanted to get to know you, they wanted you to really do your best, so they needed to know who you were. So it's a bit different now in my second and third year, but yeah.
Thank you. Aurora, I see there's questions in the chat, but maybe the students could answer the questions because we're moving in time-wise where orientation programs coming up.
Right, so we've just hit our time limit, but Anna, Elsie and Amir, if you feel like jumping into the chat box and answering any of those questions, that would be very appreciated. Let's all give a round of applause to our amazing student panel. Yeah, Elsie, Anna, thank you.
And it would be great if you could answer in the chat because there's one I can see from Sally Taylor, and she's at the University College and she's talking about group work. So that'd be great. On to the next slide, please. And thank you, Aurora. Fantastic, as always.